People are saying that V and choreographer Lee Jung were apparently seen dating or being romantic recently. People are discussing the HYBE scandal to potentially delay the BTS comeback right now as new information has unfolded. And then we have V and Weverse and that whole situation, which is a little bit fun. So, Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Let's get into it. There were some people who were recently annoyed because they believed that V has been forced to talk about Weverse, the social media app that HYBE has essentially founded. Not too long ago, V did win some sort of sash or award for his contribution to the app specifically, I think for just using it a lot. And obviously this was an honor that the label gave to show support and of course to show that V cares about the app and of course encourages more people to use it. Now since then, a lot of things that V has brought up, such as changes to the website, adding new features, those sorts of things, they've typically been implemented. And one of the features that had been mentioned was, I believe, making sure that anytime one of the BTS members leaves a comment on another BTS member's live stream, that comment will be bolded or will be pinned to the top or make it more noticeable so that the audience and the member that's live can read it. Of course, it's also important to note that those who are making the app, the engineers who are behind it, who are testing it, aren't actually the ones who are using it because they can't use it. The app is only designed to be used for artists, and even if they can use it as like a demo version, they're not going to have other artists jump on. They're not going to be testing it like that. They're just going to be doing it among themselves, so you don't know how it actually works in the real world and what issues may arise. So a lot of people get upset about that. I want to say give those engineers a break. They're trying their best, but they are not users of their own app, so they don't know every issue that may arise. V suggested an interesting feature, which I didn't even know wasn't a feature, which is the fact that other people from other groups, such as members from HYBE, TXT, whatever other group exists, cannot hop on a stream with any BTS member. V went live to talk about this and say that there should be this feature, right, where it's not just the members of their own groups that are able to hop on a stream. I didn't even know this was a feature that they didn't have because it's so strange not to have this feature. Why on earth did they limit the live stream feature to just be amongst the members themselves? It definitely seems like a wasted opportunity because obviously since all of the groups are on the app, they can all cross-promote and help each other, which also helps the app. Why just limit the members to be able to essentially only interact with themselves? So I agree with V on that. The feature should be opened up. There are some people who are a little bit upset because they are saying that the label is forcing V to essentially promote the app so much because one, he's always on it, and then two, he talks about it a lot and suggests new features. I don't believe he gets any sort of kickback from speaking about the app, I don't know, or being on it, but I think he uses it essentially for what it's intended to be used for, which is communicating with the community. He's using it exactly how social media is intended to be used, which is not only communicating with your community, but also using it to promote your work. Because guess what? Sometimes a statement on the app will get media coverage. So anytime they do anything, it's going to reach people that are not following them. And yes, that benefits the group, right? That helps the boys get more promotion. Their goal right now is just to drum up as much media coverage as possible for anything that they do. That is why they're literally everywhere right now. They're at concerts, they're at fashion shows, they're at red carpets, they're at talk shows or whatever. I don't know if they've actually done talk shows yet, but you get my point. They're everywhere right now. So it's not a bad thing. And I think this is interesting because people will essentially say anything bad, right? Like if he doesn't do this, then he's accused of not interacting with his audience and being really cold towards his audience. But if he goes ahead and does interact more, then he's suddenly a slave to the label. But while that's a little bit more of a fun story, we definitely have a little bit more of a darker one, which is what's going on between Bang PD and the current lawsuit. There's new information that's come out and a lot of people are trying to make it look really bad. There are a lot of accusations right now accusing HYBE of sexism because at this point, why not? And at this point, it's definitely going to be something that's really easy for the general public to believe because there's already these other allegations going on. I'm not here to defend the label if they in fact did do something wrong, but I'm here to clarify and give meaning to some of the stories that are going on. So I'll keep my opinions pretty neutral on this and I won't give my perspective on it. Or if I do, it'll still be pretty neutral. There was an article that came out accusing HYBE of sexism, saying that they essentially had not given any female executives stock options. And this coincides with the situation that allegedly happened with Min Hee-jin, where she accused the label of not letting her have stock options prior to the label going public. Bang allegedly told Min that there was no intention to go public at any time soon and offered her a cash signing and a bonus instead of stock options. If this did in fact happen, it likely would be because they wanted to maintain a lot of the stock options for themselves or for other investors, and they did not want to give it away. Now, of course, if the label was going to go public and Min were to have significant stock options, she probably would have made tens of millions, potentially even billions, depending on how big that stock opening was. So while a lot of people can look at this and say she should be grateful that she was even offered any sort of cash bonus, the reason why this is such a big deal is because it's millions of dollars, allegedly, or billions, allegedly. Of course, all of this looks really bad, right? Especially given the fact that a news report has come out alleging that the label is not giving stock options or any control to specifically female executives, not just men. Now, when accusations like this come out, I'm very quick to have to look into it, because making accusations of sexism is of course the easiest thing that you can do, and a very blanket statement. But what's actually happening behind the scenes? Because a company and people in general in 2025 are not that overtly sexist, racist, whatever, right? They're going to try to hide it. So why did they not attempt to hide it here? And why is it so almost obviously sexist if this is indeed what happened? Min had owned about a little less than 1/5 of Adore. She owned a significant amount of that subsidiary, but it seemed like she wanted more of the company in general. And it seemed as if a lot of the executives didn't want to give her more stock options, because essentially that gives her more control of the label and more power in the label, voting power, all of those things. So they just said no and tried to allegedly trick her into taking more other options instead. You can look at this as the label attempting to hate women, but really likely what they're doing, if this is true at all, is they're trying to preserve some of that power for themselves. The executives did not want to give up their money and their power to someone else who's newly just coming in, right? And that makes sense to me. That's not overtly sexist, because it would have happened to anybody. And I'm sure there were a few guys potentially in the label who were treated the same way because the label did not want to give them power, right? But sexism is a story that is sexier to sell, I suppose. So I wanted to clarify that because I did see that headline going around. Now, of course, this doesn't make any of the situation better if that is in fact what happened, but if we are trying to break down what actually might have happened and what actually the reports are saying versus going off of speculation and just going off of headlines, then we're going to start to see the truth actually come out, as opposed to just a lot of assumptions coming out. So I think that this is important to break down and talk about, and it gives either party a fair shot to have an argument, because now people will know what might be true and what isn't. Now, both sides of the story are potentially out there, and people can choose what they want to believe in, whereas I saw no one talk about the side that I'm speaking about now. It is important to note that these are all allegations and alleged allegations, so none of this is 100% confirmed. We don't know where the reports were received from, and we don't even know if those reports that were received were from a site or whatever that had gotten it legally, or was it taken out of context? And also, this could be a situation that is not correct because the situation has not gone to court yet. I don't believe so. None of the information should be 100% public yet. So I don't know how people are getting this information, so I want to say that. It really is important to note that there are a lot of uncertainties here. Now, switching gears a little bit, recently V was seen at the Tyler, the Creator concert. He was there amongst other BTS members, but of course a lot of people want to talk about V. He was also not the only K-pop star or K-pop related person that was in the crowd. One person was none other than Lee Jung, who is a dancer and choreographer. She worked with V before, and I believe they made videos together. And she was apparently at the concert, and people were noticing that V looked at her. People were wondering what their relationship is with each other and if there's anything in fact romantic going on, with some people saying that V was quite obviously looking at her, but the entire time. If you look at the video that they are accusing V of looking at her butt the entire time, you're gonna see that the video is just him looking at her. Like, he's not looking down because she is a little bit shorter than him, so he would have to look further down to see a butt. Plus, Lee Jung is facing him, so there's no way that he could see the backside of her. And I remember when I used to respond back to comments like this on X or wherever, the person who posts things like this would often reply back and say, well, it happened, but I just didn't post the video in which it happened in. So why would you post a video of something that disproves your argument? Why not post the actual footage that proves your argument? You see how that doesn't make any sense? And the reason why is because that clip doesn't exist. And it puts you at a credibility loss already. People are asking if they did anything backstage, like V and Lee Jung, or anything like that, with some people saying that they obviously are together because they must have done something backstage. Well, I will say that there was a lot of celebrities there that went backstage to see Tyler, and if the two were to do anything, it would be very awkward for all those people that were there. So I doubt anything happened because there's still a group of people backstage. It wasn't a private situation. So let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you check out Patreon. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Thank you so much for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.